Alrighty. Alright, good. Lighting fixed itself. Hi, welcome to the Nurse with Needles podcast. I am far more awake this time, about the same amount of sleep, but shower does a wonder for one. And that one is being me. Anyway, as I said, welcome to the Nurse with Needles podcast. I'm going to enjoy knitting and crocheting with you today. My name is Talia. I'm your host today. I am also known as Franciscan Gypsy on Plurk and on Ravelry. And feel free to say hi and friend me on either. And we also have a Nurse with Needles group on Ravelry. So please feel free to join and say hey. And feel free to start topics within the group. We love participation there. And by we, as you can see, I'm not by myself. I don't have a mouse in my pocket.
The royal we.
I'll come to this one in a second.
Since when am I this one?
Should come to this one in a second. This is my mom. She is Lady Fernico, not Lady Fernaco.
Lady Fernico.
As often mispronounced on other podcasts, she is Lady Fernico on
Ravelry and on Plurk.
On Ravelry and Plurk. And we can go into where Lady Fernico comes from, which might be a good way to remember it for you. But, yeah, she is on Ravelry and Plurk. She's in the group, and she is not going anywhere. She's staying with the podcast. Many people have been wondering if she's a permanent fixture, and she is. I'm just not changing the name of the podcast, that's all, even though she's not a nurse. And finally, this is Davina. Hey, don't smack me in the face. This is my sister, and she's just here for a quick showing because she has some crochet that she's doing right now. Mm-hmm. Let's see your yellow one first, kid.
Yeah, my favorite color.
What's this called?
This is my Warriors blanket. I call it my Warriors blanket.
And Warriors is something to do with some superheroes she made out based on characters she likes.
That she likes to write about. Actually, they're characters from movies and shows, and characters I also made up too. I put them all into a club because I wanted to put all these characters I like into a club. Anyway, I named this blanket after them.
And as you can see, you're probably about a third of the way through.
Well, I don't know. I really don't know.
Is it an afghan or a blanket?
It's a blanket. It's a blanket.
No, probably about a third, right?
About a third of the way through.
So it's quite big right now. So
all yellows and golds, her favorite color.
So we're going to fold this up. Mom's going to hang on to it a second.
Do you have something to hold on to the stitch?
No.
Okay.
And then her other project, I think this one's gorgeous. She used a bunch of different baby yarns. This one here, the yellow blanket, is all red heart.
It's all red heart worsted yarn.
She loves, hold on one second, let's put this down a second. She loves her red heart. She loves the colors that are in it. So when we started just stashing our red heart, she gladly steals it.
Yeah.
Now we can show.
This here is a baby blanket I'm making.
Now let's bring this up a little closer.
I call it the sherbet blanket because it looks like it's sherbet colors. You know, and candy colors, sherbet colors.
And
all the same.
I love it. Now you're going to notice with her crocheting, there's a bit of a ridge on it, and she's a lefty.
Southpaw. I prefer the term southpaw.
Anyway, she's left-handed, and the way she learned, both of Mom and I are right-handed, so when we taught her how to crochet, she had to adapt. Because we couldn't switch hands and we couldn't think the way she did and she couldn't think the way we did. And you'll notice a bit of a ridge because she crochets in the back loop of her crochet stitch. So that's why she has this really cool looking ridge to all of her crochet.
She has a definite back and front to this, and it's a little bit, there's not as much of a space as you see in some of the normal crochet. You can hardly see any space at all. It's almost like knitting.
And she's a very tight crocheter.
Yes.
Is this double kiddo?
Yeah, it's double crochet.
So it's a very tight double crochet.
You see it up close. You can see it's very tight, hardly any holes.
I mean, for a lot of people, that would be their single crochet. Alrighty, kid, I'm going to let you go and finish your prayers upstairs. Get your blanket. Get your blankets and stuff.
Be careful going up the stairs, don't trip.
Alright. I'm just going to put this on pause a second while she's getting herself. And so we're back. Davina didn't expect to be on today. This was a complete whim. Did I actually introduce her? I think I did.
Yes, I think we did. She is not allowed online, so she does not have a Plurk or a Ravelry name.
No, she's special needs if you weren't able to tell, and so this was very exciting for her to be videotape part of this.
This is something she was really excited about when she found out about it.
But I just noticed when we were off camera for a second that we were wearing the same colors.
It's her fault. She knew what I was wearing.
I thought she was going to change because she said she didn't like the color on her.
Yes, but I told you my skirt, not my
And
shirt.
I was like, oh, I never wear pink because I don't particularly like pink, so I'll be good. Because she's going to change.
She did not listen. She saw me before she took her shower.
You know, I didn't register it when I just
Not
roll
my
out of
problem.
bed, as everyone knows from the previous podcast where I was slurring. I don't register anything. I thought Davina was carrying hot dogs up from the. That's really annoying. Anyway, but yeah, I don't usually wear pink. Although I really like this shirt.
It's pretty.
It has little floppy sleeves.
It has peach in it, like my dress, my skirt.
It has some peach just right there, but most of it's pink and red. Anyway,
we don't particularly care for pink in this house. Sorry,
Dawn. And also, Carolyn Shirley. She's the one who says that pink is
yes.
a
pink is an attitude.
Attitude, that's
pink
right.
Is an attitude. Yes, we do apologize.
It's not our attitude.
No.
Anyway, let's get into the knitting and crocheting. Starting with the first project that I've been, well, basically the main project I've been working this week has been the Heather Yoke, and y'all have seen it a ton of times. It's the Solvig Yoke pattern by Eleanor Brown. I'm making it for my grandmother. Although I said on VKN last night, I went to Joni Knits VKN, which is Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I went to that VKN, and I was like, yeah, first of all, I tried working it during a VKN. Color work during a VKN, not so good. I did a couple stitches and decided that I'd switch projects. But what I ended up saying there was, like, my grandmother's would be lucky if she gets this sweater. She doesn't know she's getting it, so, you know, I could just keep it.
But you won't.
I won't, because it won't fit me. And I picked the yarn with her in mind and that kind of thing. But, although when I told Dad that I was tempted to keep it, he was like, well, those colors aren't really your colors. Gee, thanks, Dad. I think Grandma and I have similar enough coloring that we have the same colors. Anyway, it's a size 39.5. I'm using US 5 and US 8 Knit Picks interchangeable circulars. The US 5s are like for cuffs and things like that. And the US 8s is for everything else. 16-inch wire was used when I did the sleeves, and the 24 inches is what I'm using right now. And it's not a wire. Snook, she told me it's called a cable.
Yeah.
It's called a cable. Apparently, last week when I was so tired and stumbling over myself, she was shouting at me. Nice to know people talk back to me.
Yes.
But she was trying to tell me, and I wasn't listening to her because I couldn't hear her through the podcast.
She just wasn't listening.
That it's called a cable. So, 16-inch and 24-inch cable. I'm using the Knit Picks Andean Treasure yarn, and I was about to say I'm currently working the Aurora Heather colorway, but I'm working a lot of different colorways at once because this is a stranded sweater. It's the Aurora Heather colorway, which is a really pretty green, and you'll be seeing it in a second. Oh, you smell like Dawn's honeysuckle
yes.
body lotion, hand lotion.
Yep. Thank you, Dawn.
Sorry, I got distracted.
Bunnies.
Yes. Actually, it was squirrel.
No, sorry.
Anyway, Meringue Heather colorway, which is white. Mystery Heather, which is a dark gray. Grove Heather, which is, and the dark gray is like a really nice, dark, smoky-ish gray. It makes me think of like something Bogey would have in his hat. And then you have
fedora. Get it right.
Fedora. The Grove Heather is this light grassy kind of green, and the fog heather is really what it says. It's a fog gray. For this pattern, you need to know how to cast on, to knit to purl, to make one left, to make one right, to slip slip knit, to knit two together, to wrap and turn, to work from a chart, and how to do stranding. And let me put down my current knitting and pull this one out. I'm actually really proud of this, and I don't have a doohickey to show where I was last.
This is beautiful. It really is beautiful.
I am really happy with this. I have the sleeves attached, even though there's like a hole where the armpit would be. I'll end up seeing that later. And here it is so far.
There you go. There it goes.
There's the light. Wow, this shows up really well on the podcast.
Yeah, it does. Color's really close.
Yeah, it is. It's got a white, which I love how it pops out against the dark green. And then you have a light gray, dark gray, which is kind of hard to see against the green, a light green, and a light blue. And I have this last row of the light blue against the dark green, and then I'll be switching to a nice bright blue. Oh, that's what I don't have on here, is the name of the light blue and the dark blue, because those are new additions. I wasn't going to have those colors initially. And then I was like, I don't want to repeat colors that the pattern doesn't call for. It looks really pretty in the picture. Let me just add 2 more colors. And I think it's Tide Pool Heather is this light blue up here. I think that's the name of it. And then the other one is called Sapphire Heather.
Which is really pretty. That's
and this
really
one's
blue.
going to be my middle color. And there's only going to be 1 row of this, but it'll really pop. I'm hoping. Oh yeah, that'll pop.
It's incredibly soft. The blanket is incredible. The sweater is incredibly soft.
Because it's alpaca, so like I said, she's really lucky she's getting this. Because
I can fit in it. No, I can't.
If I can't fit in it, you can't fit in it. It's rather depressing when your mom's smaller than you are. Anyway, that is my heather yoke, and I'm really happy with it. It's been very fun to work and to learn how to do stranding. It's actually rather addictive. I've been working on it almost exclusively this week. The next project, I actually didn't think I'd be working on this. I hadn't worked on it all week. And then and the pattern I'm talking about, the project I'm talking about is my Legolas project. It's the Vivian by Yosala Teague. I hadn't planned on working on it. I didn't think I would work on it. Last night, I just all of a sudden was like, okay, I'm done doing stranding tonight. And it was probably about 3 a.m. And I was like, I'm done doing stranding tonight. I just need to do something else. And I looked at my shawl, and I was like, nah. And I looked at my my pattern that's just straight stockinette right now, and I was like, no, I want to work something with more of a pattern, something that does not involve like 20 million balls of yarn. So I ended up pulling out, where did I put it? My cable pattern. It's my Legolas. I'm making it for me. It's size 36. I'm using US 9 Knit Picks interchangeable circulars. And this is a 32-inch cable. And I'm using Stone Hedge Fiber Mill Shepherd's Wool in the blue spruce colorway. Hey, I got all the parts.
That's what happens when you shower. You don't speak in any way, shape, or form.
I usually want to call it Stonehenge, and I usually want to say Bruce Spruce.
Like the spruce goose?
Well, what I end up seeing in my head is Bruce Wayne for some reason. But
go ahead.
For this pattern, you need to know how to cast on, to knit to purl. And while you're knitting and purling, you'll need to know how to seed stitch. You'll need to know how to cable 4 back to cable 4 front, to make 1 left, to purl 2 or 3 together, to purl front and back, to pass slip stitch over, to slip slip knit, to slip 2 together, to twist 3 or 4 back, to twist 3 or 4 front, to knit 2 together, and how to work from a chart. Extra tools that you will need for this project are a cable needle, or if you don't use cable needles, some people use DPNs, and other people just let their stitches that they're cabling around just sort of hang out there dangling, and that kind of terrifies me.
The daredevil knitters.
And you need, well, stitch markers and a zipper. And I'm still waiting to order my zipper from Zipper Stop for when I know what length of zipper that I want. Because I don't want to order a zipper, have it come in, and have it be too short or too long. But they match I know I've said this before, but they will match the zipper to the color of my yarn if I send them a swatch. Anyway, I haven't made a whole ton of progress on this. I did like a row and a half, something like that. But I really wanted to work on this. So you all haven't seen this in a while. I don't have a doohickey because I've been lazy and haven't been putting any. Actually, I do have a doohickey. I actually put a doohickey on this one. There.
Which doohickey? The blue one or the little
The
panda?
blue one.
Okay.
The little pandas are doing my counting for me for my 36 of seed stitch in the middle of the pattern.
I could say something, but I won't because I'm nice.
No, you aren't. Don't lie.
I'm perfectly nice.
No lying.
I never lie.
That's a lie. Ow!
That's what you get for saying this.
Violence. Violence. We have this on camera now.
I was provoking.
Uh-huh. So yeah, that's the
It's not
cave.
showing up very well.
No, it's not.
I'm trying to get this side right here. You can see it. I wish there was a way of showing it better, but I think there's not enough light behind it. Because right there, they can see it. Hold
There.
on. Yeah.
So I'm really happy with it, even though I didn't work on it too much. It was nice to work with the shepherd's wool again. I forgot how much I like this yarn. It's very nice for cabling, and I really love the color.
It's a very pretty color.
So I was very glad to get a chance to work with it again. And it's in an awesome bag that I'll talk about later.
We're not talking about that yet.
I didn't work at all on my damasks, the Drill Magic, so I'm not going to run through the stitches for that. I did work a little bit on my socks. Very little, I think.
Christine?
Yeah, Christine. That was a mix of patterns. It's at the base. This is a DVD toe-up socks by Denise at Lost City Knits, but I'm using the crystal heel, and I'm using an increase that I learned from the Racing Hearts pattern by Carolyn Warner and PJ Allen. So it's kind of a coagulation. Is that the way you say it?
Amalgamation?
Coagulation, whatever.
I don't think it's a C. I think amalgamation. Amalgamation? Amalgamation, I think it is.
I don't know.
Somebody out there will correct us if
I
we're
don't
wrong.
care. If it's not a word, it
That
is
as
now.
evident.
Okay, so I finished it.
You're caught on your thicker here.
Actually, I wasn't. I was caught on the back.
Oh, okay.
It's pulling on here. The socks are getting bigger, so they aren't both staying on the needle. The ones hanging out on the cable, so the yarn pulls on that. It probably doesn't look like I made a whole lot of progress, but I finished the toe increases. Wow, with the purple up there, it makes my lipstick look purple.
Makes your face look purple. You have purple hair.
Okay. Anyway, I've got to now the toe increases, and you can't really tell, but I'm going to be doing a one-on-one ribbing all the way up, and then when I get to the actual ribbing, that would be the end of the sock. I'll do a two and two ribbing.
Is this going to be a crew sock, or is it going to be a?
No, this is going to be a normal sock. That's why I'm doing the two at a time, so I can go up as high as I want, and then I will do an afterthought heel, which will be the crystal heel again. So I'm hoping that with the ribbing, I've noticed my last pair of socks I made, the first pair of socks I made, that when I took my slippers off, my sock will come right off with the slippers because it's stockinette and very slippy. And I'm hoping that the ribbing will help it stay on a bit. So that is that. I love the yarn.
Very pretty.
I love the dyeing of the yarn. Let me run through the stitches and stuff. Oh, I ran through stitches. Did I run through no, I didn't run through the yarn though. I make them for me, It's on US 2 Knit Picks Fix circulars with a 40-inch cable. The yarn is from Wild Hair Fiber Studio. It's a merino superwash wool in the blue-pink colorway. I think it's more purple than it is blue. I mean, there's a gorgeous blue in there. And the pink is quite pretty, too. But
It's almost a sky blue pink.
and there's my ducky. Hi, ducky.
Two duckies.
Ducky, ducky, ducky.
Two duckies.
So that is that pattern. And Christine is named after a, where's my thing? Okay, named after a character that I've been writing for heaven since high
Long time,
school.
yeah.
So
7 years.
7+ years.
Something like that. Yeah.
Because it's 7 years.
Although you did put her aside for about 4 years.
Not the whole 4 years, because we started the shared story when I was in college.
Right. We only wrote like once every.
Well, that's
Couple
because
months,
nursing
whatever.
school is hell. And you could not make me go back if you paid me. Anyway, so that is Christine. I guess I didn't go through the stitches. You need to know how to cast on. I use Judy's Magic Cast On. You need to know how to knit to purl, to make one left, to pick up stitches, to knit two together, to knit front and back, to Kitchener. Because even though I knit front and back, I only started doing that part of the way through. Before I was making one left, making one right, and at the time I was using the Harmony Wood needles. I kept being afraid that they would break on me, and the knit front and back felt a little more secure. And then when I got the metal needles, I just kept doing it. I don't really care for metal needles. I find them very slippy, but at least for the smaller sizes, I prefer to use them because I won't be as afraid that they're going to break on me. I felt like I was working with toothpicks before. Anyway, you need to know to Kitchener. You need to know Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy Bind Off. I'm working 2 at a time. I can see how that would be addictive, even though it does get a little tiring working with 2 balls all the time of yarn. And I'm doing the 1x1, 1-on-1 ribbing, and the 2-and-2 ribbing. Then I didn't work on my racing heartstocks at all. I did work on my fire cardigan. I work on this one when I need to talk, like when I did the VKN with Joni Knits.
Which I missed. I was sorry about that.
It was fun. You missed Sun Country.
Yeah, I was upset about that too. I wanted to meet her.
But this is my sitting and talking and knitting project. So this is the Fire Cardigan. It's a Hyannis cardigan pattern by Kirsten Hipsky. I'm working it for me in the size 36. I'm using US 10 and US 9 Knit Picks interchangeable circulars with a 40-inch cable and a 16-inch cable. Currently I'm using the 40-inch. I guess we do the 16-inch when we get to the sleeves. I'm using Valley Yarns Huntington in the colorways Red, Mustard, and Harvest Orange. This is not one yarn. This is 3 different yarns worked together. So this is the mustard, this one's the red, and that's the Harvest Orange.
It's very fall colors.
And I was telling Mom today before I went to bed that if you squint, you can make up patterns in your head of what the red's coming out to be. Like, I guess you can't really tell on here, but because the red comes up so randomly, sometimes I'll see like hearts that the reds are making, or it's kind of like when you look at clouds and you can make shapes out of clouds. I'm making the shapes out of my red on my knitting here. Because it's a very randomized pattern where the red will decide to pop up.
Rorschach test.
So it's very randomized. For this pattern, you need to know how to cast on, to knit to purl, to work ribbing, to knit 2 together, to slip knit, to pick up stitches, to knit buttonholes. Because the pattern doesn't tell you how, and I really prefer zippers to buttonholes. I'll probably be trying to do a zipper, so I'll be making a lot of use of zipper stop. And you also need to know how to Kitchener. I never really had to Kitchener for a sweater. I guess it'll be for the sleeve somewhere, I guess. Anyhow, I'm doing a lot of stockinette right now for it. From this point, I'm up to here. I have about 4 inches of stockinette. I have to have 8 inches. So I'm about halfway there. Then I do ribbing again for the waist, and then I'll have another miles more stockinette. But it's good. It's good talking knitting, and I like having something that's not overly complicated to work. To work on every once in a while. But that is what I'm working. That's what I'm working on right now.
Very good.
Your turn.
Okay. I actually was able to work a little bit.
A little ghostly.
I actually was able to do a little work on everything. I didn't think I was going to work on anything this week, but I did get to work a little bit on everything. The first thing I was working on is my Nicole blanket. Yes, Nicole, I told you I was going to name this after you. I meant it. This is my
Not
Nicole
Hada's blankets?
No, Nicole blanket. This is my Nicole blanket. It's the Half Log Cabin Ombre Blanket by Pearl Soho. It's an all-knit blanket, and I'm still not quite finished with this ball of yarn. It seems to take forever. I'm supposed to go to the end of the yarn. Nicole can correct me if I'm wrong. But
You have a doohickey.
I do have a doohickey.
Oh, Mom, did you see the video I posted? No, there's not really any noticeable holes, but did you see the video I posted on Pinterest? Or
not yet. I have to look and see it.
Fixing holes in knitting?
I'll have to take a look at that. But she's telling me that I have holes in my knitting. But
no,
anyway.
I didn't say you have holes in your knitting. I said
anyway, this one is to show me what's the right side, although it's all knitting, so I'm not sure what the difference is. This is where I was last time, so this is the progress I made from the blue.
And that's a garter stitch.
It's all knit, all garter stitch. So you can see from the blue to the top, that's how far I made. It's probably about maybe 4 inches or so. Straight knit stitch. Working with the Red Heart yarn, so it's not overly soft, but it's very forgiving and it doesn't split, which is really nice. This is my kind of mindless, brainless kind of just do it kind of knitting when I'm watching television, Jeopardy or something. I don't have to worry about, losing anything except maybe losing a stitch.
Knitting is my new excuse for not being quick enough to answer the Jeopardy questions.
Because she needs an excuse.
Well, I'm not really quick on the uptake for questions like that. I don't do well with pop quizzes. During normal tests, I get test anxiety, which is part of why I hate nursing school. Besides the fact that they are evil and try to kill you. But also, I'm just not very good at pop quizzes stuff. Where she'll be knitting along and she'll be popping up with a question. She and Davina are very good at random trivia.
I wish I could remember more, but having children's brain cells go south.
Didn't you get, when we were kids, didn't you get some, like a form to enter Jeopardy?
I might have, but I don't think I ever
vaguely remembered it.
I don't think I seriously considered it. But anyway, this is basically what I've done on this project to get back to it. I used 9 different colors of yarn. I'm still on the first one. The second color that I will be using is this kind of a tan. So I don't know if you can really see the difference. It's just a little bit
very
darker.
Subtle.
It's very subtle. But and I'm going to be going progressively darker before I change colors. But it looks like I still have a little ways to go before I get to that point.
Oh, Mom, you want to explain where Lady Fernico comes?
Well, let me finish with the stitches first. This, like I said, is all knit stitch, and
that's really all it is.
That's all it is. It's on Hiya 10.5 fixed circular cables, needles, cables, needles with a 32-inch cable. There it is, cord cable, whatever you want to call it. Lady Fernico, yes, not Lady Fernaco. It's my last name is actually Fernandez, and so it's Fernaco. And my husband is an artist, and he
this is something he does for fun, but he's very
talented artist. And so when he,
Maybe we can throw some his artwork at the end.
we have to ask him.
That's
first.
true.
We have to ask
And we
him
don't
first.
want him to watch this podcast.
No, we don't want him to watch this podcast because something else is coming up later on. But anyway, he wanted to develop a company sometime down the line. And it's always, since he was a boy, been Furnico. And so when I had to choose a name for Ravelry, I decided, well, first of all, my writer's name, Shadowlight, was already taken. So I decided I wanted something sort of medieval, sort of writery, and so I chose Lady Furnico, which was not taken, which I was grateful for. So that's it. It's Furnico with a short A and no staccato O to it. So, or staccato A.
Wow, that's showing your music background, I think.
Anyway, okay. Now that I've bored you to death with that, my next project is the Blue Heaven sweater from Lisa Gentry's Crochet Closet. And I didn't do a whole lot of work on that. I was hoping to, I'm sorry, we'll be out of the camera range for a second. I was hoping to be on the second ball, but I'm not still. I did a little bit of work. It doesn't look like I made very much progress on it. Let me see if I can do this without losing my, no, I just can't do it. My project is not happy. Stop that before I hurt you. My project is not happy unless my hook gets out of the little thing there. But anyway, I think I did about, I think this is my marker here. No, that's not.
Isn't that your doohickey?
I think this is my doohickey right here because this one is movable. I've done about maybe 2 or 3 rows on this, and it's
really pretty.
I've been
Hang on, don't move it.
I've kind of been dragging my feet on this because
I think it's just hard to see.
it's hard. If I open it up a little bit,
I tried to paint. It's just hard to see.
it's just hard to see. It's dark, but and the background of our walls is blue, so it's hard to see.
And the white paper does it. It's actually making it worse.
But I was dragging my feet on this because I'm only about a row and a half from the shaping, and every time I'm working on it, it seems like I'm watching television or something, and I didn't want to have to change balls and work on the shaping while I was watching television.
Didn't I get you to change balls?
No, that was a different project.
Okay.
I can do the crochet on my own.
Okay.
But so this one, I really like the way it's working out. The pattern's not that difficult now that I'm in the repeats. I know what it is until I get to the shaping. And it's fairly soft, and I love the little shell patterns. I wish.
And this is the first sweater.
My first sweater, yes. So we'll see how.
She never thought she would make sweaters.
No, I never thought I'd wear any, make any, wear anything, make anything.
Please wear something
that I would wear other than a scarf or a shawl.
She has a bad habit of thinking small.
Well, yeah,
and
I guess. But
what happens if I do something? Eventually, she wants to follow. She'll say that she'll never do that, and then she'll eventually follow me.
She has arrogance like this big. But anyway.
That's all?
Well, I didn't want. I had to show the screen. I mean, if I do the screen out of the screen, well, maybe out of the. Stop that. No. So anyway, I was going to make it a little bit longer, but I don't think I'm going to need to because this is going to need to be blocked a little bit, and I think when I block it, it will be long enough. So I probably will.
And if you look at if you did the math for what the chart showed, it was going to be what you generally like for your length. Anyway.
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty close, and so I'm not gonna lengthen it probably. I will, I think, add more buttons as I said before. To work this project, you're going to need to know how to make a foundation chain, to crochet basic stitches like a single crochet, a double crochet, a slip stitch, to repeat patterns, to skip stitches, to increase, decrease, and do some shaping, to whip stitch seams, and to weave in the sleeves, and to work buttonholes. My claret.
And now we're moving on to another project.
Yes, another project. Well, that's what I said. My claret. It's not.
Well, it sounded like you're still talking about the same project.
Only to you.
Like claret was a new stitch. Someone who doesn't crochet, like some of our knit-only people, would have thought that was a crochet stitch.
There's something wrong with you.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, the claret shawl, which is,
I think this has grown quite a bit since last time.
It seems to have grown a little bit. I actually didn't do too much work on it until Sunday, when I did, I think it was 3 or 4 rows on this. I hadn't worked on it all the rest of the week. And it is actually called the Recuerdos de Infancia shawl by Gabriela Ordonez, also known as Gabriela on Ravelry. And I only did about maybe 2 or 3 rows around, and it seems, I'm going to go ahead and take this out. I've got my stitch saved. You can start seeing it's starting to look like a shawl now. It does look a little uneven, but I think it's just because it's not quite finished yet, and you can see the pattern. It's really pretty.
Anyone, grab more the other side. Just down here.
Okay. You can see it's starting to look like a shawl. You still can't see very much of the color gradation, but it's
Oh,
definitely.
yeah, actually, I can see it now, Mom.
So it's starting to work up. This is, I think this
It's
is
very subtle.
It is very subtle. I think this is the center part of the pattern. I'm going to be working. I have to work this pattern, this around the triangle, the top of the triangle here, 24 times, and I think I've worked it 4 or 5 times. So you can tell it's going to get quite a bit bigger before I have to work.
For now, it looks like a Starfleet.
An emblem or a shawl from one of my new dolls. But anyway, this when I get to the 24th, then I have to start working the second part of the shawl, which is the border. Oh, Ty is getting one of my dolls.
By the way,
That's one of my obsessions.
new doll.
That's one of my obsessions. Yes, and see, it would fit really. It's almost ready to be a shawl for her.
But it's not going to be.
It's not going to be.
Isn't she pretty? I think
Yeah.
she's one of the prettiest ones you've met recently because she has. I like her face the best.
We're gonna have to talk about her and obsessions. Go put her away.
Okay. Well, I feel like they're all your dolls and obsessions.
I know. I have. Well, that's another story. I only paid $2 for her, and I was really happy about that. But anyway, okay. So to do the Recuerdos de Infancia shawl, you have to. Well, I'm using Knit Picks Fingering Weight Gypsy Tonal yarn in that red color, which is Gypsy Tonal, and a G-hook. The color is great. I love the color. I love the fact that it's finally looking like a shawl with a center ridge to it. I guess that's what you call the little ridge. In order to make it, you need to know how to chain, to slip stitch, to half double crochet, to double crochet, to triple crochet, crochet, not crochet, crochet, skip stitches, crochet a picot, P-I-C-O-T, crochet a shell, and follow pattern.
Or I
and
wonder
follow
if it's
chart
pronounced
table.
like picot.
I don't know. So that's this one here. Now, on to one of my other knitting projects, my Arwen shawl. My cowl, actually, my Arwen cowl. In this. Look at my new stitch thingies. These, I was going to talk about in Stash and Hats. They look like little donuts, and I got them in the hair aisle at Martin's.
I can't imagine wearing that in your hair. That would pull so much.
Because I don't have, don't stretch it too much. I don't have a anything that fits my needles, and my stuff kept, my knitting kept coming off. So until I got something, I saw these and I picked them up along with the little thin rubber band ones to use for stitch markers, which I don't have right now. But anyway, I'm using it for these needles for my Arwen cowl, which is actually the Cariad cowl by Kelly Menzies, also known as Kydell on Ravelry, who is with the Kydell Ravelry group. They're having a cowl, and this is what I chose to do, the Cariad. This is all knit, and it's about 30% done, I think. This is about 10 inches when you straighten it out, and it's supposed to be 30 inches plus whatever it takes to finish the ball of yarn you're on. And this yarn is so soft. It's a
You're welcome.
yes, thank you. It's a Lion brand, and I'm trying to read the Lion brand Hometown Solid and Multis in San Diego Navy colorway. And it's just, I wouldn't have thought it was so soft. I know that that the Lion brand Homespun is very soft, but this is very soft with the added bonus of not being quite so splitty. And I love Homespun, but it's a little bit splitty, and not being so with so much fuzz, so you can see what you're doing. So I have so much fun with this. This is my go-to when I want to knit because it's just soft. One interesting note about this pattern, I said it was the all knit, but you use, and those of you who have been here watching the podcast before realize this, it takes two knitting needle sizes, two different knitting needle sizes at the same time. This is my Takumi
Got the clover.
13 Takumi Clover needle, and this is a 15.
And Takumi is a brand put out by Clover.
By Clover, yes. So this one is a 13, this is a 15. You use them at the same time, which is really kind of an odd feeling. And they're currently on the the 15-inch side, and it's supposed to open up the stitches a little bit. I don't know if you can tell for the knit stitch, so you can see the ridges a little bit better in the opening, like that. And I made quite a bit of progress on this one. I think I did about 7 inches on this, or maybe not quite that much, 6 inches maybe on this over the past week. It really works up fast. I'm really having a blast with it, and I know I'm going to make more of this one. In fact, Davina, the daughter you just saw earlier with the blankets, she wants one of those now. So that's.
I keep offering to teach her how to knit, but she's not quite ready.
She's not quite ready. Yeah, she's not quite ready.
Because I can teach a lefty to knit, because I mean I can knit with my right hand hook, so I can knit continental and I can knit English, because that's what I'm doing when I do color work. I use both hands. But
and I have one.
Anywho.
I have one more project that I'm working on. I tell you, every time we do what's next on the needles or on the hooks, I say I don't have anything planned, and every week I have something new. So I have something new.
You have what they call startitis, but you want red, inflamed, swelling, and pussy. So Startosis.
Yes. Anyway, I said I wasn't going to cast on or hook up anything else, but I found the most awesome pattern. You have to understand my husband. My husband is a Batman fan, and I can't say anything more than that because then he'd have to kill you. Yes, the Batcave is hidden. But
Batman just runs rampant in our family.
Yes, he does. My husband's a big Batman fan, and I found the cutest Batman pattern. See if I can find a picture of it. Here it is. This is not the color version, but you can get an idea. It's a crocheted pattern, Batman pattern. Okay, and it's made by
it's amigurumi.
Amigurumi by, what is her name? M.J. Bailey. E.M.J. Bailey. Okay, and I started it on Sunday with the black. Let's see if I can find my, here it is, in my errand bag here. This is the top of the head. I'm getting ready to put the gray in. And it's worked in that funny kind of round where you do your chain, and then you do your single crochet on one side, and then instead of turning it so that you're going the other direction, in other words, instead of going right to left and then you turn it and work that way, you flip it and you work on the bottom.
You work on the bottom of your chain.
You work on the bottom of your chain. So you work on the top of the chain and the bottom of the chain to get this little inside kind of a pocket kind of a deal. Pocket. Batman. Anyway, this,
I know, you say that
a lot. Yes. I'm having fun with this. I'm not real happy with the yarn. Okay, the hook size is fine. It's a 3.5 millimeter hook, an E-hook, but I'm using Vanna's Choice solid yarn.
Vanna's Choice is not popular in this house.
It's splitty.
I think it's greasy. It's not greasy. It's
I don't have any problem with that. It's fine for that, but it's a little bit splitty, and I'm not sure if it's just because the hook I'm using for it, they asked to use a smaller hook than is requested for the yarn. So I might be catching it wrong, but it just seems splitty. And it might also be because I'm having trouble seeing it with the black. It's hard to see the stitches because I'm using such a small hook. So hopefully that will change a little bit when I change into the gray. But I'm not real happy with the Vanna's Choice. If I do this again, I'll probably use the cotton yarn that they request. You can use worsted, obviously, but I think I'll go back to a cotton yarn, maybe the Brava worsted or something. Well, actually, Brava's just a worsted yarn, isn't it? It's not cotton. Excuse me. To work this Batman, you need to know how to read a pattern, to chain, to single crochet, to half double crochet, to double crochet, to triple crochet, to slip stitch, skip a stitch, to do an invisible decrease, which I have not yet done. And I think it was Joni Knits on her podcast was describing what that was, and I was kind of half paying attention because I was doing some other work. I have to listen to that again and look it up on YouTube maybe, because I haven't done that.
That's where she learned to do it. She did it on
YouTube, yeah. So I'll have to look at that. As I said, it's worked on both sides of the chain instead of a magic loop or a joined chain. I'm working in Vanna's Choice black, yellow, gray, and peach. So that it's actually it's kind of a beige, not a peach. I had a hard time finding peach, so I had to go with the beige.
Are they making you do white for the eyes?
If they're making me do white for the eyes, I'm going to have to scramble for the eyes because they might be making me do white for the eyes. I don't have the color version right here. So that's this is for my husband for his birthday on August 4th. So I'm probably going to put most of my other projects aside this week to see if I can get it done before his birthday. He doesn't know
I need
he's
to start
getting it.
thinking about Dad's birthday.
Yeah, he's really hard to get things for. So that's the Batman project. I think that's all I have on my hooks and needles at this point. Yes, it is. So I don't. That's you finish objects. Blah, 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 finish objects.
No, actually, it's spinning.
Oh, spinning. Okay, go ahead.
Last week we had added a new section for spinning because I just started spinning. I'm gonna be out of the camera seconds, and you're gonna see some of my new stuff when you see my spinning. But I do have stuff currently on the spindle. I have drop spindles. This is from the same fiber. It just got to the point where it's too full on this one. This is my top whorl.
That color is so pretty.
I love this color.
It's not quite as blue as it's coming out on the screen.
It's pretty darn blue.
But it's not quite.
It's a variegated blue.
Yeah, it is a variegated blue. It looks more green from where I'm sitting. It's definitely
well,
blue.
it's the lighting though.
Yeah, I think so. It's not quite right, but it's very, very pretty.
And then I just started doing on the other spindle last night. And I still have a bit of fiber, so I'm still to weigh it. I'm not sure how much was in here. It came in a Ziploc bag that was unmarked with this spindle.
It looked like about 3 ounces, something like that.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite 4,
Yeah.
but it was more than 1 ounce.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the Northern Lights Wool Tops Roving in the Ocean Waves colorway, and I'm working on in both the top whorl drop spindle and the bottom whorl drop spindle / support spindle. I've been using it more as a drop spindle. I kind of like the drop spindle. I like this particular spindle because it's heavy enough that it keeps spinning while I'm drafting, so I don't necessarily have to park and draft. This one, it's so light I have to park and draft. I'm just not fast enough to keep up with the spin. And also stop spinning by the time I'm drafting. So, yeah, that's my spinning right now.
Very cool. Very pretty colors. I'm going to steal them when the yarn is done.
That's what she thinks. And I think that I'm going to two-ply it. And there was a YouTube video on how to two-ply using the same ball of yarn. So I don't have to worry about it being equal weights, which I think is what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to two-ply using the same yarn. And I forget what it was called, but when I'm actually getting to the point where I'm plying it, I'll let y'all know. You don't have any spinning.
No spinning.
And no dyeing at this point.
Yeah. Still looking into that.
So I am going to go into FOs. And I didn't think I had any FOs until I took into account that I have spinning FOs. It's not like I said spitting. It's spinning.
She spits all the time.
The first, let me bring this back up here. The first spinning FO I have, you know that one last week? It was on the spindle still.
Right.
It's a very loosely done. It's blue face Leicester, I think, silver. It's bulky. It hasn't been weighed. It hasn't been measured. It's Navajo plied.
It's a very rough feeling.
Yeah.
Yarn.
I'm sure if I washed it, and thwacked it, it would feel a little less rough. Thwacking is quite fun.
Technical term?
No, that is the technical term. You take the yarn after you finish washing it and dry. Wash it, yeah, and after you pat it down and make sure that it's not going to drip, you just go whap, whap.
Get out your frustration.
Oh yeah, it's fun. And it softens it a little bit.
You do that with children?
Oh, well, since you don't have any children in the house, it wouldn't be.
You're always a children.
You're always a children?
Always a children.
I'm always multiple children?
Yes. The royal we.
Okay, I didn't thwack this one, and I kind of wish I had, but it was already mostly dry by the time I realized I needed to thwack it. So this is my Black Jacob yarn. It's, I guess, bulky.
It's pretty close to bulky.
It's pretty much bulky. It's approximately 22 yards. It's 44 grams, and I Navajo plied it.
Might be heavy worsted.
Yeah.
So you have some even stuff to see. It's bulky.
Yeah. So I'm hoping to make a toy out of this, and
Such a pretty color.
it's very rough though, so I wouldn't want to make anything else but a toy out of it. And there's not enough lot here to make.
You have to make a miniature, and that would be really hard with the needle. You'd have to probably use with that.
Yeah.
I guess you can knit it.
Yeah, I was planning on knitting
Yeah.
it. But if it's too hard to knit something out of it, it'll just be, hey, this is my first yarn, and I'll put it aside.
That might be something worth keeping. Put in a little shadow box.
Yeah. And then finally, I when I ordered something from No Makers, and you'll see what I ordered from No Makers later, she sent me a sample yarn, a sample fiber. I don't know the colorway. I asked her what it was, but she hasn't responded yet on Plurk. So, Amanda, if you're on Plurk, please let me know what the colorway is of
So
this.
she can match it.
So it's No Makers Polywarth / silk yarn. She wanted me to try it out, try spinning it. It's an unknown colorway, and I think it came out to about a worsted DK. And when I measured it, it was approximately 7 yards, and it's 6 grams, and I Navajo plied it.
It's really pretty. It's very bright.
So it's, like I said, it's about a worsted. It really does look like real yarn. I'm
Yes,
so
it does.
happy.
It really does. It is real yarn.
But
Quite offended at you.
you know what I mean. So I'm quite happy with it. Yeah, I'm quite happy with it. It's pretty. Really pretty. Not one of my usual colors, but I like how it turned out. But those are my FOs.
I don't have any FOs. Not right now. So
Alright, that goes to next on the needles. Immediately next on the needles, if I can bring myself to work with that Black Jacob yarn, I'm thinking about doing the mini elephant pattern. This is a free pattern on Ravelry.
I'll put it up a little closer. There you go.
And he's supposed to, it doesn't say how much you need, but it says oddments of double knitting yarn. So it's going to be too heavy.
Might be.
Yeah,
Double knitting is DK.
Yeah. I mean, I'll try it, but I might go up a couple needle sizes. But if I go up too much,
You won't have
I'll run out of yarn, because I don't have a whole ton of yarn. But if I do knit up something using the black Leicester, this will be it. Anything that's going to require only a little bit of yarn is going to require too small of a needle size for what I've spun. So chances are what I'm going to do is just hang on to that yarn as, hey, this is my first skein. And if I think of something later, I'll use it. But, hey, that's my first skein. Anyway, that is what might be next on the needles. I still am planning to do the twin set sweater and cardigan by Claire Montgomery for Mom. And it's from the book Knitting Vintage. And I'll be using the Yarn Bee Andy's Alpaca, which is 85% acrylic and 15% alpaca, and it's in the arabesque colorway. Haven't started it yet. I'm trying to get some things off the needles before I start another project. And then another next on the needle will come up when I do stash enhancements.
Okay, I don't plan on doing anything next on my hooks and needles unless I finish the Batman. In which case, I have to make a decision as to whether I want to concentrate on my sweater and shawl, or if I want to start off on one of my other shawls, which I had that pretty green yarn. I know what I want to use it for. If my mystery yarns come in, I might want to use them. I have a lot of different patterns I'm looking at, including one that one of my major enablers, Nicole Hot As Knitter, suggested for crocheting and knitting together, so I'll get to that later. But I don't have any next on hooks and needles that I'm honestly thinking about right now.
Okay, so that brings us to stash enhancement. First of all, I'm going to go with some of the less fun.
Less fun?
Yes, there is fun and there's less fun. Starting with, out of the screen second,
Oh, it's gonna cry.
my Lazy Kate. It's a very basic Lazy Kate, just for when I'm flying, or something like that. I'm sure this will be more useful once I eventually get a wheel. Oh, by the way, if anyone has any suggestions for a good beginner wheel,
Inexpensive.
relatively inexpensive,
Yeah.
please put them on the board. I'll go ahead and start a thread, or I'll start a thread. Because I'm hoping to maybe have a combined Christmas and birthday gift. My birthday is in January, so it's usually hard to figure out something to get me anyway for my birthday. Because it's right after Christmas. Mine's even more after Christmas than yours.
Yes, I know. You couldn't wait till after my birthday. You had to be born before my birthday.
If I was born after your birthday, I wouldn't be in January anymore.
I know. Well, yes, you could.
Barely.
My fault.
But yeah, this will be useful when I eventually get a wheel. But if you have any suggestions for a good beginner wheel, please let me know. So that's my Lazy Kate. Here is my Nitty Naughty. It came in a sweet little bag. And my dad could have made this, but I didn't want him to.
I don't think he knows you bought it.
No, he didn't.
Because he'll be like, I could make that. Because he can make almost anything.
But I didn't want to. He does so much that I didn't want to give him one more thing to do. This is my Nitty Naughty. That's where I have to stick it on. This can come apart. This is, I think, for the 1 yard Nitty Naughty, and you wrap your yarn so you can put it in a hank, and then you take it off and you wash it. Not wash the Nitty Naughty, wash the hank.
Wash the Nitty Naughty. Watch those pronouns.
And then here, if you want it longer.
Can you use all three together?
No, you can't.
Okay.
And this would be a 2 yard. And then what I did for the really small one.
Aww.
That I won't be doing that very often.
What do you mean by 1 yard, 2 yards? You mean that it's only
1 yard
all together, or 1 yard wrapped around?
Well, 1 yard wrapped around once.
So you can do like 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever is around it.
Yeah. Excuse me. Got a little bit of a scratch in my throat. So that's one part of stash enhancement. Then I got my Knitting's My Bag bags. So those, they arrived, and I'm very excited about them. Here's my first one. This one goes in my purse while I'm at work. And this is, of course, when I saw that she had the nursing bag, I had to get it. I wanted it bigger, but all she had was a small. And as it turns out, it works out, because usually when I work on this, this keeps my Christine socks, which is my purse knitting. Usually when I work on this, it's at work during my lunch break.
Sounds like little nurses and
Doctors and things like that.
Yeah.
And I love this bag. It opens up really nicely. When it opens up, you're like, oh my gosh, this thing's huge.
It's got such a nice lining to it. It's bright blue.
It's got pockets in there, and then it closes up so nicely that I'm not afraid of it opening in my purse.
She can turn it upside down. It's not going to fall out.
Yeah. So I really like this bag.
Best bags ever.
It has a nice little handle.
Mm-hmm. It was well worth the wait.
Yes, it was.
Well worth the wait. Because I know she was really hustling with all the orders and renovations and everything.
She's usually from California, but she's in Maine right now. So she doesn't have everything she's used to having, and she's going through renovations. Then here's my knitting sheet. bag, and this is keeping my Legolas cabled sweater in it. So, again, it has the awesome opening stuff, and it has the armband. And this is the medium size. That other one was small. This is medium. The larges are ginormous, from what I understand.
And this is bigger than it looks on the screen. If you
I
open
mean, if
it
you
up.
think about it, though, it's bigger than my head.
I mean, it fits 2 skeins at least, and then a project. So it's really good.
And then my Great Britain bag is carrying my flame cardigan in it. And we lived in England for 4.5 years.
Yeah.
So,
I was leery about getting this bag because I thought it was too light. Looking at it now, I probably could have gotten it, but I don't want to get the same bag as she did. So I'll look for another London
and it
bag.
has, you can't quite see it on the screen, but it has different locations. Big Ben,
Soho, Hyde Park.
Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, it's really neat. I like it.
Do we have jokes about Big Ben?
Yes, it was a song, England swings like a pendulum do.
But
Westminster Abbey, all
yeah.
that stuff.
So that's my Britain bag. So those are my 3 my bags. I'm very happy with them. I showed you my my spindle already, and I'm not gonna pull it out again. Well, I guess I have to.
She really wants to.
My top whorl spindle with the new roving that came with it.
The Turkish one that came in?
No, I'm still waiting on the Turkish one. And it's taking all my self-control not to buy the one that,
No.
I know.
Rachel, if she wants to buy it, you can't sell it to her. She's not allowed to. She's waiting.
Not allowed to.
She had, well, not by me, by you. she already bought one.
But I like the wood better on Rachel's.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous.
It's this dark wood, and it's tiny geek
crafter.
Tiny geek crafter from the Knit Me Happy podcast. She got a spindle. It wasn't what she wanted. It was a Turkish spindle, but they didn't give her the wood she wanted, not the wood she asked for. So she ended up putting it up on Etsy when she got it, and
it might be taken already if it's that pretty.
I checked it right before I went to bed. It was not taken. I wish someone would buy it so I can stop looking at it.
Somebody buy it. I know. We'll get Dawn to buy it. She needs more stash and half meat.
Right.
She got rid of her adding needles. She can get a spinner.
A spinner, huh?
A spinner, yeah.
I call it a spindle.
A spindle.
But here's the rest of the fiber that I am spinning up.
It's so pretty.
So I'm not quite sure how much is left in there.
Probably about maybe an ounce and a half or 2.
Something
maybe.
Like that.
I don't know.
And it's, I've spun quite a bit of it, so.
It was a good starter. What was the starter kind of thing with the?
Yeah, it was a starter
yeah.
thing. It came with this top whorl spindle, and then that fiber.
Very generous.
It was very generous. It was very beautiful. Makes you want to spin, and it's soft. It's not. I don't think it'll be rough like the black Jacob was, or the silver face Leicester, blue face Leicester silver, whatever. So that's that. That's the Northern Lights Wool Tops Roving in the Ocean Waves colorway, and it's gorgeous. Other stash enhancements. Where is it? This is also thank you, and I'm going to actually pull it out of the bag. So if you don't like crinkling, that's just too bad.
At least it's not styrofoam.
So something you need to know about me. I am a Batman fan, and I am known at work. I've been described by people at work as the Batman nurse because my lanyard has Batman on it. Batman, the Bat signal, that logo on it, and as does my pull socks that I keep in my pocket, and I let the Batman lanyard hang from that. Then I have a Batman bag that has my blood pressure cuff and some reference books, and I hang that on the back of my computer on wheels. But even more than a Batman fan, I'm a Nightwing fan. And Nightwing, if you are not a Batman geek, is Batman's first protege.
The first Robin.
He was the first Robin. And when Dick Grayson grew up and decided he was tired of Batman kind of running his life, even though Batman still kind of runs his life.
He runs everybody's life that he cares about.
He went off and he became Nightwing.
And she even has a Nightwing license plate.
Yes, I have a Nightwing license plate. I have a bunch of Nightwing comics. And my mom got me from No Makers the Nightwing yarn.
Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you, Amanda. I am very excited about this. I kept looking at it and going, oh, I don't know what I'd make out of it. I'm not going to get it right now. And
Amanda makes the best colorways. I have several on there that I want.
And Amanda, really, this is great. This is exactly the Nightwing kind of blue. It has black. It's very awesome. And it is 75 superwash merino, 25% nylon. It's fingering sock. Gives you the gauge on there. 462 yards. Has the price. It's $21.
Which is well worth it.
Yes. And it is born on... This colorway was born on December 7th, 2012. I'm sorry, not 2012. December 7th, 2002. So, we even have his birthday on there. So, I don't know what I'm going to make out of this yet. I was thinking a shawl or...
In which case you're going to have to get more.
A toy. But, whatever it is, I'm going to call it Nightwing.
It's really pretty.
It is. So I might have to get another skein.
Amanda, you need to make an oracle. If you're watching this, you need to make oracle.
What would Oracle's colors be, though? Red
and
green?
Black, green.
Because she lost a lot of her colors when she became Oracle because she didn't have a uniform anymore.
We're a Batman family. Batman and X-Men. She wants to take a Jean Grey, that would be fine, too.
She does. She has Phoenix in Roving.
But it doesn't need to be in roving. I can't crochet or knit with roving. I do not wish to spin. But anyway, that
is Nightwing, and thank you, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
Next, more crinkling.
This is pretty.
Is my Hank McCoy fiber. And
it's actually a little lighter than the other fiber. We thought it was the same, but it's a little lighter than that.
Yeah, it is. It's Hank McCoy, and if you are not a X-Men fan, he is Beast, and it's very pretty. I haven't taken it out of the wrapper yet because I don't want it to get damaged.
That's the color of his fur.
That's the color of his fur. He's Beast from X-Men. And seriously, when I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, she nailed Beast's colors on the head. She got it. This is totally Beast. It's 100% merino top. It's $13. And it's just plain gorgeous.
She's really, I'm really impressed by her.
4 ounces. So if I spin thin enough, maybe I'll get enough for something.
Nice. Oh, yeah. You should get at least out of 4 ounces fingering weight, maybe about 400 yards.
That'd be nice. I'm not sure.
I think that's what people usually get out of 4 ounces, from what I've been hearing people. I don't know anything about spinning, but that's what I've been hearing on podcasts.
But I'm very happy about it.
Very pretty.
I haven't opened it even to feel it because I don't want to damage it before I start spinning it. I'm working on my practice yarn, the Ocean Waves, before I even touch my No Makers.
What I'd like to know, Talia saw on something somewhere about hankies, fiber hankies, and maybe if somebody could post on the boards what they prefer to use, this kind of fiber or those flat kind of pants.
Although I was reading I was watching the Nerd Girl Knit podcast, and they were saying that apparently with the hankies, you can actually knit right from the hanky.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's like you twist it with your fingers, and then you work right. So it's almost like you're spinning without spinning.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's what she was saying.
Well, it'd be interesting to know what experiences people have had with that, just for giggles.
Yeah. And feel free to put that in the spinning thread or start your own thread to answer that question. I think I have a questions and answer area. Share your wisdom.
You can put another one if there isn't.
Yeah. So this is Hank McCoy. And then Master of Disguise, Darkwing Duck, Darkwing Duck, let's get dangerous, Darkwing Duck.
Yes.
So, with that rather lame intro. This is the Darkwing Duck colorway.
You have to be quiet because.
Oh yes. It's 4 ounces of 70% merino top and 30% tussa silk. It's $15. And
it's right on.
it really is. I mean, you have all the purples for Darkwing.
That little bit of silver, white, whatever that is, and the black.
Yeah, hang on. I want to make sure I didn't leave my stitches. Okay. So, the story behind this is when my sister and I were growing up, Davina was obsessed with Darkwing Duck. Everything was Darkwing. And
she even had a Darkwing toy.
Yes, she did.
Toy.
Well, we had Darkwing toys, and we had she had the Darkwing stuffed animals also. Yeah. We also had the toys.
Yes.
I was rewatching that show, and oh my gosh, it was good.
Yeah, I know. She told me you ordered it.
She had them. Well, because when you were gone,
yes,
when you and Dad were gone, they had a date night, and I watched Davina, and we watched Tailspin, which is another thing we grew up with. And I realized we didn't have Darkwing, and we didn't have Rescue Rangers. Other things that we used to have the tribe we really watched. It was Tailspin, it was Rescue Rangers, and it was Darkwing Duck. And so I picked up Rescue Rangers and Darkwing Duck. So we have a few other things to watch together. But this is going to be something for Davina. She's been bugging me to make something for her. So I'm going to spin it up. And this is going to be the last thing I spin, so I have enough practice spinning that I can get the weight I want. And I'm thinking a shawl. I might have to pick up another color to supplement it.
Maybe a gold, but then it wouldn't be Darkwing anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe a silver? I don't know.
Although, if I do a shawl with really small yardage,
yeah,
like 200, 262, like a few shawls I found. If you guys have shawl ideas, especially shawls that have very little in the way of yardage, feel free to post them. I'd love to see your suggestions.
Do they have to be knitted or can they be crocheted?
I would prefer knitted because it uses less yarn. So if anyone, although if you guys find crochet with less yardage, fine.
Some of the shawlettes might be, and she's so tiny.
Put it up there, but chances are knitting will be the way to go because they use so much less yarn. But this is for her. She doesn't know it. She hasn't seen it yet.
Mom's word.
So I am really excited about this. I keep hiding it underneath Hank McCoy. And Amanda from No Makers sent this really awesome note. And I said thank you for your order, and that she included the Polywasp silk for me to try, and happy spinning. So really, I mean, I spent $32.50 when I got a little mini skein, basically. I got 2 big things of roving, which will make, you know, when you buy the yarn, it tends to be about 20. Well, we sell 22. So
if you get the same amount of yardage, approximately.
Yeah, it's gonna be well worth the money. And I love the way her colors are.
Yeah, she's very talented. Very talented. So, I keep going back there. I keep telling her she's like a temptress.
That is my ode to No Makers, and really her stuff ships so quickly.
Oh, she's like on the button. I mean, I can't believe how fast she ships. When I got that yarn for Talia, I think she shipped it like immediately.
Yeah, that's the way mine was too. I put in my order and almost immediately I got, oh, it's shipped.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
that's quick. Yay.
I'm very, very impressed with her. She's fantastic.
I ordered on a Friday.
I ordered on a Friday.
Yeah, I ordered Friday night, early Saturday morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got it by Monday.
Yeah, I did too. I got mine the day before you got yours.
So maybe I got mine on Tuesday.
You got yours on Tuesday. I got mine on Monday.
Yeah.
Something like that. So
and it,
or did I order on Thursday? When did you come home from work that I ordered? Maybe I ordered Thursday.
Maybe you did order Thursday.
And I got it Monday, and you got it, and I got it Saturday.
Anyway, it was really quick.
Very quick. Very quick.
I know we didn't have any time for the last podcast.
No, I didn't have mine. You're right. Because you would have showed it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So, anyway.
I have to stop this for a while being hot.
that is my stash enhancement.
Okay,
Your
my stash enhancements. I already showed you the Batman pattern. And the yarn that I got to go with it. I got 6 balls of yarn. I don't think I'm going to need all this. I'm probably going to regret getting it. I think I'm going to stuff the Batman with some of this yarn. This is the navy. I got 2 navies. This is the black. I got 2 black. I got yellow. Oh, it shows up different. So it does look different, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then I got the yellow and the beige. Okay, so I got 2 each of the black and the navy. And 1 yellow and 1 beige to work the Batman pattern. So that's that. Before I go any further, I want to show my bags from Things by Bag. I love these bags. They're just fantastic. My first one, I'm kind of switching projects from one to the other. Right now I have my Nicole blanket in here. It's not going to stay in here. It's going to go in
There's no need to pull it out.
Well, I want to show them the inside. It's got an orange line. This is my Faith, Hope, and Love, I call it. It's actually Faith, Hope, and Joy, but it is Love. Faith, Hope, and Love bag.
And Joy.
It's a small bag. It's got I think it's 5 pockets on the inside. It's lined in orange. I take this with me to church when I knit, to my adoration chapel. I say my prayers to put the prayers into the object I'm making. It's quite a good size. This is the small, and it's quite a good size. Okay. It fits pretty comfortably a skein of yarn and a project. So, and then like Talia was saying, it closes up really well. I don't have to worry about anything falling out. So I really, really like this one. I like them both. My other one is that she sent me. This one, Talia got England, I got Paris.
Wow, that looks so much bigger when I'm looking at yours. No, it's the same size.
Yeah, this is the Parisian Ladies. I think that's what she calls it. I was concerned about the colors on the outside, but it's fine. It's not white. It's kind of an off-white or cream, and it's just beautiful. I love the scenes of Paris. I've been to Paris several times, and it just brings back some memories. It's lined in pink, and it's got the
and the same pink you see along the
and it's got 5 pockets, I think, and like I said, it carries about 2. It's got my huge ball for my other project in here right now, but it could probably carry 2 of those in the project easily. I tried putting this in there, but the needles won't fit, so I'm going to have to get a bigger bag for that one. I hope you're listening, Lois, because I'm going to have another order for you pretty soon. Probably I'll wait till you get back from Maine. But these were well worth the wait. I just love it. It's just perfect.
They're very well made. They stay standing up.
They don't fall over. The cord doesn't fray. It's just perfect. I really enjoy it. So it was well worth the wait. I know she's been extremely busy. I appreciate the effort she put into getting this to us, and the nice little note she sent me with it. It was very nice, and I'm very happy with the bags, and I can't wait to order some more from her.
This is
Nicole,
gonna be a long one this time.
Yes, Nicole, hot ass knitter, are you still out there? Yes.
No, she went home. She said she stopped watching.
Yes, she got bored with hearing her name. She is, like I said.
If she is watching, I mean, it's a long pause.
Yes, it is. She is my major enhancer. She, besides my daughter here, and she's always getting me to try things. And she had mentioned the Sedna shawl. And she said it would be a good one for people to try who want to do crocheting and knitting together, to do, what did she say, to change colors, I think it was?
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway, whatever was she said, she motivated me. I did book.
And it's a nice cheap pattern.
It's only $2.99. It's by.
I don't think it's even $2.99. It's $2.50 or something.
Something like that, yeah. It's by. Who is it?
By a person who writes patterns.
Yeah, I can't. It'll be on the pattern notes, and it's on Nicole's, sure. Anyway, it's $2.50, $2.99, and I decided to buy that, and I'll knit that one up when I finish something else. So I had that, and my other attachment was Craftsies had a sale. I've been looking at their Tunisian crochet class. It was $29.99. It's now down to $19.99. So if you're interested in that, they may still have it. I'm not sure if it's still on sale. You might want to take a look. Craftsy classes are really great because you can take notes and you can have access to it as much as you want. And I showed you my stitch markers and things, so that's about it.
which brings us on to obsessions. Obviously, spinning's a new obsession. So that's been fun. I got, excuse the reach. When Mom and Dad went out for their anniversary, they are always nice and think of us too. So they picked up for me Spin-Off magazine, which has a nice section on spindles this time around. I was actually looking at this and held off on buying it. And then Creative Knitting.
Yeah, there's some patterns in there I want to
You see
do.
a little girl in the back? She's so
adorable.
cute. Anyway, so that's...
She reminds me of Rose from Joni's.
Yeah.
She reminds me of Rose, yeah.
So those are my magazines. And No Makers is a new obsession.
Mm-hmm.
Just about anything No Makers. And then I just picked up recently The Secret Life of a Knitter by the yarn harlot, who is Stephanie Pearl McPhee. By the way, how cool is it that her maiden name was Pearl?
Yeah.
Anyway, Stephanie Pearl McPhee. And it's basically just, if you're not familiar with the yarn harlot, it's just stories about life as a knitter. Her stories in particular. So it's a fun read. And I have it on Kindle. She has multiple books out. Talks about how addictive stash enhancement can be. And it's just fun. Although you wouldn't, if you're a crocheter, don't read it. Because she can't stand crochet.
Shame on her. We're really very nice people. She should just...
Well, it's because she's tried it and she's always been unsuccessful at it, so now she decides it's evil. So, yes, those are my obsessions. Any obsessions?
Mine are relatively short. You saw my dolls. My husband got me started on dolls. Went to Goodwill several weeks ago and found the porcelain dolls. I always loved them, with the pretty dresses.
And we don't have time to bring them all in.
No, I've got about 15 of them now. But we have gotten all the ones we've gotten, and you saw the size of that one that Talia brought out. They're all about that size or bigger. And I got them between $2 and $10 each, I think it was. And so really good prices for them. The Craftsy is an obsession for me. Gnome Acres is an obsession for me. And my writing. I did get some writing done. I didn't get as much as I thought I would get done, but I did write about 400 or 500 words on my synopsis, including notations to myself. Not a lot. It felt like I was writing 4,500, but I did manage to get that written. I did a 500 word free write for the 500 Club, which is a picture prompt. So I was happy with that. Not real good, but it was creative. And I did write some to the share story I'm doing with Talia. And that pretty much covers my obsessions.
And I haven't done any writing this week. So this leads us on to thank yous. So we have several shout outs. So thank you to Joni from the Joni Knits podcast for mentioning us on her last podcast. To Julie from the Playhouse Yarn Overs. And I can never remember what Joni's Ravelry name is. But Julie is the Play Yard. Oh, and I miscalled her. It's not Playhouse Yarn Overs, Play Yard Yarn Overs. Is the name of her podcast. And then Carolyn, who is called Shirley on Ravelry and Plurk, from the Girlfriends Knitting podcast, also mentioned us in her podcast.
Don't forget Anastasia Knits.
No, I'm not forgetting Anastasia. Okay. She's the big thank you at the end.
Okay.
She's on my notes.
Okay.
Thanks for returning members. Thank you for coming and seeing us again, knitting with us, talking with us,
chatting with us.
And thank you for welcome to our new members. The ones since last podcast who joined up were, first of all, Dawn, and that's Deli Telix. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Mm-hmm. It's her Ravelry name, so welcome. Lois from Knitting's My Bag, who is Knitting's My Bag on Ravelry and Plurk. Sue, who is Snooks. So hi, Sue. Feel free to talk at us as much as you like.
Is she the one from Australia?
She is the one from Australia. So Feel free to talk at the screen, even if we don't talk back.
We'll listen harder.
Yes. And then there is Andrea,
Andrea.
Andrea,
I'm not
and
sure. Andrea.
that's Born to Knit Pearl.
Might just be
Knit
Andrea.
and Pearl. So, welcome, one and all. And I will end, because we are running very long.
We do apologize.
It's her fault.
Always.
It's a special thanks to Anastasia.
From Anastasia Knits.
She's from the Anastasia Knits Ravelry group. She does not have a podcast,
But she does have a blog.
but she does have a blog. And I think that's also called Anastasia Knits.
Anastasia Knits Designs.
Something like that. Because
Yeah.
Anastasia Knits Designs is her group.
Right.
First of all, she mentioned us on our blog, so thank you. She gave us a really nice review on our blog. And also, this is where the big thank you comes in. If we had Charlie, like Lauren from Lemon Crochet did, we would get huge Charlie kisses.
Yeah.
Uh,
We had to borrow Charlie.
he's a bundle of energy. I'm not sure if I want to borrow
Yeah,
Charlie.
Daddy would have that.
But she offered to help us do something fun when we hit 50 members. Right now, we are at 34, 35, something like that. So when we hit 50, we're going to do something fun. We don't know what yet, but Anastasia has offered to help us with that.
So I was
So
really happy. She also offered to sponsor something, so that was very nice of her.
thank you very much, Anastasia.
Thank you, Anastasia.
But
Go visit her,
yes.
her group. She's really fun.
Yes, she is. I very much enjoyed having her in the group. She definitely takes part in conversations, and I love having interaction in our group. I like hearing from you all. But I really need to finish this up because we are running very long, and you'll never watch this again if we run this long all the time. So thank you for watching, and I hope you'll come back next time. Say hi on the Ravelry group. It's Nurses Needles Podcast. I should think it's just Nurses Needles. Say hi on iTunes.
On Plurk.
On Plurk. We're also on Blip.
Facebook, huh?
Yeah, you. Anyway, but thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next week.
Next week. Yes, next
Let's
week.
try that again.
Next week.
Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next week. Have fun knitting and crocheting and spinning. Until then, God bless. Bye.